Hey everyone, we want to welcome you to Rexburg, Idaho, a special broadcast with the Latter Day Stories podcast. We are broadcasting live from Porter Park in Rexburg, and we are just a couple miles within vision of the Rexburg Temple. We are here for Rexburg Pride and excited to have you along. Let us know where you're watching from. We want to kind of give you an idea of what's happening here in Rexburg today. As the event planners were preparing for a Rexburg Pride, they thought maybe if we could get a couple hundred people, this would be a success. And then as people started to register, about 500 people showed up or started registering, and then 1,000 people. And we'll give you a live shot of what's happening here in the park today. I'll tell you, there's well over 1,000 people. It's an exciting event here taking place in Rexburg for the Rexburg Pride. Now, I've got with me one of the should we call you founder?
No.
One of the event coordinators, Brooks McFadden, who is with Flourish. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on here, your expectations, a little bit about what the event will entail, and give the audience an idea of what's happening in Rexburg today.
Perfect. So it's been absolutely overwhelming to see everybody come here to Rexburg Pride. I'm a Rexburg local myself. I've lived here for 27 years, and to see something like this come about is just incredible. To see people come together to celebrate unity, which is what this event is called. It's Rexburg Pride, Celebrate Unity. And so we love that people are coming here, they're learning, they're understanding about their family members and friends who are LGBTQ, along with being just an overall celebration for LGBTQ individuals. At this event, we've been going from 4 and we'll be going till 11. We're about to be doing a program where there will be a song, somebody will be singing, a poetry reading, and an overall welcome to the event. Afterwards, we will be doing a walk around Porter Park in solidarity and support of those of the LGBTQ community here in Rexburg and Southeast Idaho. And once again, it's just been absolutely overwhelming.
Brooks, tell us why you're involved in this event particularly. Why does Pride in Rexburg mean something to you?
Something to me is, like I said, I'm a Rexburg local. I've been able to find that support and that love from people within my church, within my school, and within different programs that I've been involved in. And I noticed that some people, the LGBTQ community in particular, didn't have that same support. And I really wanted that. There's been times where we've been able to push and learn and to be able to grow in that love and support and communication and provide that community education. And this has been huge. Flourish Point first started back in just February of this year, and we've tried to take it by storm and say we are ready to accept and really fight for those people who need that extra love and support. And with this event, we've been able to do just that. So just as I've been able to feel that love and support from the Rexburg community, I want to be able to share that with everybody in the LGBT community as well.
Tell us a little bit about why something like a Flourish Point is important for a semi-closeted, conservative Mormon community like Rexburg.
Well, one of the difficulties is doctrine within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And for LGBTQ members, there's a lot of reconciliation that they've had to do for that. As a result, already among LGBTQ youth within the United States, about 48% of them in 2021 or in 2020 have experienced suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation. And for us to be able to provide that subsidized counseling and therapy to LGBTQ individuals, especially in an area where people are closeted, it only compounds on that. And so there is a need to make sure that they know they are loved, make sure they are accepted, and that they have the resources to be successful just like everybody else, because they are just like everybody else. We have our differences, but we have so many more similarities than what we focus on at times, and we want them to be successful. So that's really why Flourish Point is here, is to, as cheesy as it sounds, we want to see people flourish, especially the LGBTQ community.
I like that. So in addition to Flourish Point, what other resources are available out here in Rexburg for the LGBT and T communities?
Within the Flourish Point, we've provided a gender-affirming closet. There's other organizations, or I would say businesses in town that have been in support of us and that have joined alongside us in this movement. You have Family Crisis Center has been involved, where they've been helpful in just promoting us, and they've attended this event. You have the Rexburg Free Clinic. We've even been able to work with BYU-Idaho counseling to make sure that LGBTQ students are getting the resources they need. And so we're starting to work with them on providing those resources. So those are just like a few organizations and individuals we've been able to work with.
Yeah, looking around at, I would dare bet we're at least 1,200 or 1,300 people here already.
Yes.
What message does that send to Rexburg? What message does that send to a conservative community who thinks that their family, no one in their family identifies as LGBTQ, no one that they know identifies as LGBTQ, nobody that they know is an ally or a supporter? What message does it send to Rexburg?
I think what this says is there are people who identify as LGBTQ and we just don't know. You don't know, and that's because they're closeted. I remember at one point I had a scout leader who, he had no idea, but he had said in the front seat of the car, we used to beat the queer out of kids back in my day. And I was like, do you know about anybody in this back seat? Do you know anybody in your scouting program? You don't. And he had no idea, right? He would have never known. And so there's a need to understand people are closeted and they're afraid. And the message that we want to send is that we don't want the LGBTQ community to be afraid. They should not have to be afraid. They should know that they can be loved, and they can be loved ferociously and absolutely and entirely loved and accepted, regardless of where anybody's path goes in life, right? And the other message that I think that this can send towards, I guess, a conservative group is there's somebody you might know. And so be ready to meet those individuals and to have a conversation with them. Ask them about their experience. And, everybody comes from a different background. Everybody has a different experience. So it's so important for us to learn those experiences from each other, because there's no other way we can celebrate unity or unify if we don't share those experiences. How's it going?
All right, so awesome turnout, super great message for those who are in the Rexburg area that could need some support, especially some therapy or support. How do they get a hold of the Flourish?
Just go to our website. It's flourishpoint.org, FLOURISH.org. If you go there, you can set up a free 15-minute consultation, and you can get a hold of us, and we can get you started. We've been getting more and more therapists, more and more interest, and so it's only growing. We know that people are in need, and they need to be able to share the things that are going inside, and we just want to help them. So please get a hold of us. If not, we do have a hotline, not through Flourish Point, but we do advertise like the suicide hotline. So get a hold of them. We have a phone number on that website as well. Any other additional resources, reach out, and we will get you in touch with the people that you need.
Thanks, Brooks. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everybody.
All right, so we are, as Brooks mentioned, we are broadcasting here from the Rexburg Park, the Porter Park in downtown Rexburg, and it is really busy here. I want to give you a couple shots. We're going to do a couple of quick interviews in about 8 minutes. We will be in the program portion of today's Pride event, and there will be some speakers, and we'll feature that speaker panel for the Latter-day Stories audience as well. And then there's a little bit of music. It is so busy here and it's so loud, so I apologize. This is kind of a crazy setup for such a big event, but wanted to just kind of give you an idea of all the people who are out here, all the people who are participating in the Pride event, and give you kind of an idea also of who's here. Right now, right behind us, and I'll give you kind of a live shot of some of these booths here. But Paul Mitchell has shown up. They're here doing glitter highlights, I guess, glitter touch-ups in people's hair and beards. So some of the people who are here today do have glittery beards, and that is on purpose as they kind of accessorize and glamorize themselves for Rexburg Pride. In addition to the Rexburg Pride, there is the Community of Christ Church, a affirming church in the local area who is here to support the Rexburg Pride. As you'll see straight ahead of us, Affirmation is represented here as well, and maybe we'll even catch Steve and have him tell us a little bit about Affirmation. All right, Steve, tell us a little bit about Affirmation. We'll have to come a little close because it's crazy loud here, but tell us what you're doing here with Affirmation and your participation.
Yeah, we're just up here to help introduce Affirmation to people who may not have heard about it. Affirmation is an organization that supports people on their faith journey, just their Mormon spectrum, whether they're fully believing or they've left the church, but they have Mormon ties. It's just a good place to find support and community.
For those who are interested in joining Affirmation, actually, let's first tell us a little bit about some of the programs in Affirmation for those who may not know what Affirmation actually offers.
Let's get Nathan Kitchen. He's right over here, and we'll let him do that.
Perfect.
I'll go over here.
Grab Nathan. Also here at Rexburg Pride is the USGA, Understanding Gender, Same Gender Attraction. That group is interesting. They're located in a lot of high schools, a lot of civic organizations. Interestingly enough, BYU doesn't have their own USGA. There's a separate USGA, but not sponsored by, particularly by Brigham Young University. Next to USGA is the Mama Dragons, and if you remember the Mama Dragons, you'll know that they are the huggers. We'll get Lisa over here. Lisa is a Mama Dragon hugger.
That's right.
Come a little closer.
Okay.
It's so loud here that not everybody can hear us. Tell us a little bit about Mama Dragons, what Mama Dragons does, and some of the things that Mama Dragons will have coming up in the future.
All right. Mama Dragons is a support group for moms of LGBTQ kids. We support each other in learning how to best support our kids, keep them alive and healthy. The motto is to support, educate, and empower mothers to be the best mothers that we can. And we're trying to get out into the community. We'd love to get an education into every person, every family, so that when someone comes out, we'll know how to handle it. And we won't be completely up in the air about how to love and take care of an LGBTQ kid.
What does a group like Mama Dragons do for a small community like Rexburg?
We really try to reach out and be there for kids that are struggling, and they know that they've got adults that love them and will support them, and hopefully that when their parents are ready, they can be connected to the group, and so we can put our arms around them and help them as well.
For the mothers out there who are wondering how to contact Mama Dragons and get involved in Mama Dragons, how do they do that?
Okay, it's mamadragons.org, M-A-M-A, Mama Dragons. So we've got the website. You can search for Mama Dragons on Facebook. We've got a public Facebook page. We'll have information on how to join. And we try and make it to every Pride festival that we can, and provide a booth with information and free hugs.
So come on down. If you are in the Rexburg area, come on down, and Lisa has a hug here waiting for you.
I'm here.
It's all in the name, Lisa Glad. She is glad to be here.
That's right. I love being glad.
And glad to hug.
All right.
Lisa, thank you for all that you're doing with Mama Dragons.
Thank you. Thanks, Mama.
All right, we're going to circle back here. We just snagged Nathan Kitchen. He is the president of Affirmation. And you are in the shots.
Oh, good.
I'm going to fix you just a little bit. You're a little bit taller than I am. Come a little closer. It's a little loud. But Nathan, tell us a little bit about Affirmation. You are the president of Affirmation.
Yes.
Second elected year. So a second elected term.
Yes, that's correct.
Which means either they don't know what they're doing or you're doing well at what you're doing.
Something like that. I just will press forward until I'm done.
So tell us a little bit about Affirmation. Steve gave us a 30,000 foot view, but tell us about the programs and the opportunities that the LGBTQ community can find within a group like Affirmation.
Absolutely. So Affirmation is famous for building communities around the world. And this is communities that provide safety, love, and hope. And it provides a place where someone can land among their friends. And we are able to draw in a lot of mentors of people who have traveled in their journey and pretty much know what the road has been like. And we are able to connect you with your peers and mentors if you have questions. And we don't prescribe a path. We don't tell you what to do, how to do it, but we understand that it's important for you to have someone validate your experiences and then be in a place that is safe and healthy for you. And in Affirmation, we're your biggest cheerleader, and there's a big, huge group of us that want to see you be the best that you can be, no matter what kind of opposition or problems or situations that you feel you're in. You are never, ever alone.
How do we get in contact with Affirmation?
So you can contact me directly at nkitchen@affirmation.org, or you can contact our Director of Operations, Joel McDonald, at joel@affirmation.org. Either one of those will be able to contact you personally, and you can come on our website, affirmation.org, and you can type in your location, and you can see where the closest chapter or activities are for you.
I just want to hit one more thing, because one question that I'm asked frequently about Affirmation are what specific programs are offered, what specific groups are offered in Affirmation.
So yes, we offer programs for people of different ages. So we have Gen Z, we have millennials, we have people who have been married, like fathers in Affirmation. We have a group for women in Affirmation, those that have been mothers or who have never been a mother. It's a chance for mothers to be together. We have groups for our transgender siblings, ace, bisexual. There is whatever you are identifying as, we have a community for you in these programs and can connect you with your people.
Perfect. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the good that you're doing for the community.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Thank you.
As we mentioned, we are broadcasting from Rexburg. It is a full house. This park is absolutely packed. They expected and hoped for about 500 people. They thought if we're lucky, we might get 1,000 people here. But here in a few minutes, we're going to switch on the crowd cam as we go to the program portion of Pride, and you're going to get an idea of how many people really are here. It is super full and super exciting. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're watching on our live stream, let us know where you're watching from. We are broadcasting this on our Facebook and YouTube channels. If you want to share this on your page as well, allow other people to participate in today's Rexburg Pride, I invite you to do that. Let us know where you are watching from. And I don't know if I can grab this or if you can see it in the background, but through the trees, you can see the Rexburg Temple, which I think is fitting for an occasion like this. So many colors, so many rainbows in downtown Porter Park in Rexburg. Here in a couple of minutes, there will be a program with some music and a couple speakers. We will bring that to you as it happens. So for a few minutes, I'll give you just let you look at the crowd before the program starts. It's supposed to start at 5 o'clock, so we're just a couple minutes past that. Likely running on Mormon Standard Time. So give you a shot of the crowd here. Good. Let's jump in. Like this, these are two wonderful people. Oh my gosh. Hello, Laura. Hello, Blair. Okay, so we have to talk a little bit closer because it's loud. Okay. Blair Osler, Laura Skaggs, happy to have you here, or we're happy to be here. Such an exciting opportunity. Tell us why you're here and what this means for Rexburg. Come close, come close.
First, it's just going to be better than mine. No, I showed up because I am honestly flabbergasted that this is happening in Rexburg. Like, this is just a sign of the times right now. Things are changing. I heard there was going to be some protesters. There's about, you know, 6 sad people across the street, but like honestly, I feel like we're doing all good here. So I'm just happy to partake of the joy.
I think it's exciting. And I'm not going to let you get away without plugging your book because it's so good. Tell us a little bit about your book that you just released.
Absolutely. I just wrote a book released. It's Queer Mormon Theology. You can get it on Amazon, and it's unapologetically queer and unapologetically Mormon. And it's going to be hard for people to dismiss because it really holds true to both camps.
It's Blair Ostler with an E. Queer Mormon Theology. You'll find it on Amazon. It is already on my bookshelf. It's been read once. I approve.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'm flattered you read it. Buying a book and reading a book are 2 different things.
I read it in Maui on my vacation, so it meant that much.
Oh, yay. That makes me happy.
Laura, this is Rexburg. Come closer. Come closer.
Okay, I'm coming closer. Yeah, hi Jeff. Here we are. No. Yeah, I am actually speaking 2 minutes today. And I was a student here at BYU-Idaho, which was then, I'm old enough for it to be Rick's.
Rick's College. Nice.
Yes. For anyone who's that old. Yeah, so it's, I was closeted the entire time. I never could have imagined this happening now. And so, yeah, it's kind of surreal. And then to be speaking, I won't like say what I say, no spoiler alerts.
We'll catch it. We'll wait. We're not that anxious. I think this is exciting. They hoped for a couple hundred people. They got well over 1,000. This is super exciting.
This is amazing. I was not expecting this big of a crowd. Like, I was worried I was gonna like have to use my body to protect people. I'm like, it's a Pride party, y'all. We're having a good time.
This looks like Salt Lake Pride. Like this is busy.
It was busy. It was busy. We're owning this corner of the park. Yeah, we are.
Awesome. Thank you too. Thank you for all you're doing for the community.
Thank you. It's really good to see you. Hello, anybody out there?
There's a few out there.
Lots of love. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
I do know who you are.
How do you know who I am?
We're Facebook friends.
That's right. I'm Facebook friends with all.
All right. We are still here at Rexburg Pride, and we are hanging out at the Porter Park. I want to give you kind of an idea. There's just more and more people that keep showing up. It is so busy. The program's going to start here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to switch it over to the crowd cam and just kind of let it play as the crowd's happening. Oh, got some furries.
Are you Kyle?
I am. We're also broadcasting.
Oh, you are? Okay.
You don't have to get out of my way.
We just listened to your podcast, and we loved it so much. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just friended you after I listened to your podcast. Yeah. So we live in Shelby. We just left
some fun. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about taking my average. But first, I need some 151 in a mess. Time to light it up. Let's go now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how is everybody doing tonight? Oh, come on. I think we can get a better response than that. How is everyone doing tonight? There we go. I would now like to introduce Joni Miller. She helped put this whole event together. She did an amazing job, and she's going to talk to you guys for a few minutes. Give a round of applause for Joni.
Hello? Hello.
Thanks for coming, everybody. So beautiful. I love how colorful we are. I just wanted to introduce so that when you guys see us around town, you can say hi and know who we are. Just the board of Flourish, and we're the ones that hosted Pride first ever in Rexburg. Woo! Yes! This is weird. I don't do this. So my name is Joni, like I said, and we just kind of wanted to be a little vulnerable up here. I'm going to tell you something interesting about myself, something embarrassing, and then something encouraging. So something interesting, when I was like 13, I got stung by a bee on the top of Half Dome. So I'm a hiker. And then something embarrassing, when I was in elementary school, my nickname was Joni with the giant chonies, which if anybody speaks Spanish, that means underwear. And something encouraging, I just want to let you know, we have not come this far just to get this far. So we're going to keep going.
Peer pressure is a thing, so welcome everybody. Hi, I am Brooks McFadden. I've been helping out with Flourish Point since about March. Let's start off with something embarrassing. We'll keep it short, but once upon a time, back in elementary school, they would do time tests of like how fast you can solve these math problems, and the music was, and it was stressing me out, and I had to pee. And so the entire time I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then I wet myself in the middle of the math class listening to So it's funny we can laugh now that I've already cried, right? Something interesting about me. I'm not that interesting. I don't know. I'm 5'5". I'm really short. So there you are. And then something encouraging. I'm a Rexburg local, and I have family that are here. I have friends that are here. And I know there's a lot of people who they don't have that much family support. And I want you to know that you have support here. This is your family, and you have family here to welcome you. So welcome to Pride, and welcome to this family.
Wow, this is insane. All right, my name is Jimmy, and I'm the, I guess you could say, the director of marketing. And I really did not expect that many people so quick today. It's, wow. I don't know. I don't have any words. It's awesome. All right, something interesting about me. I don't know. I'm from France, I guess. We can use that. I'll play soccer, so if you play soccer, you can find me on the upper field over there sometimes. Say hi. And something encouraging, I just look at you guys, and this is encouraging. I'm like, I can't believe the support. We just started like 8 months ago. I can't believe how many people supported us, how many people we see here, and the party just started, so awesome.
I'm tall. I don't know if that's my interesting thing or not, but my name is Lori Miller. I am really excited to be part of the board of Flourish Point. I was less excited to be up here, but here we are. So I'm supposed to share something interesting. So I'm very tall, and my husband is not. My husband is like 5'4" flat, and I am like 5'11". I guess also flat. And I guess that's my interesting thing. I'm a counselor, a professional counselor. That's maybe interesting too, or not. And embarrassing, I don't know, maybe come up to me and I'll tell you something. There was once, I've had 2 kids, and it's hard on the body. There was a time when I went jump roping with my kids' class, and it didn't end well for me. And I would be sitting on the ground with something tighter on my waist because it was embarrassing. And lastly, encouraging. I'm just so excited for Rexburg to have this and to have this. It's so encouraging to me that the community is here, kind of this, if we build it, like, will they come? And in the beginning, we were even talking like, oh man, if there could be 100 people here, that would feel like a slam dunk. And I think we're more than that. So glad that everyone's here. And again, my name is Lauren Miller. Okay, I'll keep this short. My name is Christine Anderson. I am the Secretary-Treasurer of Flourish Point here in town. And my interesting thing is 7 years ago, I was on the front page of the Rexburg newspaper for wearing pants to church. And my embarrassing thing is if you see me limping around, I was on the first vacation of my life in Hawaii last month, and I snapped my ACL on a hike, and I had to be life flighted off the mountain. And it was embarrassing. As I landed, they were like, "Did you get video of that?" I was like, "No, I didn't get video." And they said, "Don't worry, everyone else on the mountain did, and it's probably on Google by now."
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to watch a group of local LGBT teens spin flags that represent themselves for, sorry, I totally butchered that intro. Here's a group of local LGBT teens. Each one is spinning a different pride flag that represents themselves. The performance of Kelly Clarkson's People Like Us. Let's give them a warm welcome with a round of applause.
We come into this world unknown, but know that we are not alone. That she will knock us down, but changes come in. It's our turn now. Everybody loses his. Everybody wants to throw it all away sometimes. And hey, yeah, I know what you're going through. Don't let it get the best of you. You'll make it out alive. Oh, people like us, we've gotta stick together. Keep your head up. Nothing lasts forever. Here's to the damned, to the lost and forgotten. It's hard to get high when you're living on the bottom. We are all this living in a world on fire. Sing it for the people like us, the people like us. Hey, this is not a funeral. It's a revolution. together. Keep your head up, nothing lasts forever. Here's to the damned, to the lost and forgotten. It's hard to get high when you're living on the bottom. We are all misfits living in a world of fire. Singing for the people like us, the people like us. You just gotta turn it up loud when the flames get higher. Singing for the people like us, the people like us. We are all misfits living in a world of fire. Singing for the people like us, the people like us. You just gotta turn it up loud when the flames get higher. Singing for the people like us, the people like us.
They did a phenomenal job. That was amazing. Now, if I could get GGA, Tessa, to the stage. Now, I gotta ask, who here knows what K-pop is? Who here is a fan of K-pop? Oh, okay, I gotta ask. I hate to do this, but who here listens to BTS? All right, I'm impressed. So right now we have a K-pop group that's about to come to the stage. This group formed 3.5 years ago because of their shared love of South Korean pop music. Please welcome GGA.
So sexy.
Blackpink in Miami. Blackpink in Miami. I know I am, and I'm so hot, I need to say, I don't want a boy, I need a man. Boom, bang.
Let's hear it for TGA. Next up, we have Stacy Clarency. She is a therapist at Flourish, and she will be performing He Called Me Baby. Now, let me tell you, she was pretty nervous coming up, but she does an amazing job, so let's give her a warm welcome. Stacy Carlincy, if we could get you to the stage, please. Once again, let's give her a warm welcome. Stacy Carlincy performing He Called Me Baby. He called me baby. All night long. Used to hold and kiss until dawn. And one day I'm alone and he was gone. Now there's no more pain and pain all night long. He called me baby and baby all night long. Kiss my tears away when things went wrong. Oh, what I did if he just come back home. And he called me baby and baby all night long. He called me baby and baby all night long. So high and pain strong. Now each night in dreams, just like a song, I still hear pain and pain, pain and pain, pain and pain, all night long. Now, before earlier today, when we were doing sound check, she's like, hey, so I haven't performed in 20 years. I'm kind of nervous. I'm a little worried about it. Can you believe that she was worried? She just nailed it. Let's give her another round of applause. Now up next we have Abby Tenney. Gosh, I hope I pronounced that right. Abby Tenney reciting an original poem titled The Meaning of Pride.
Beware of pride. But I will no longer stand aside and ignore the tears my siblings have cried over a promise they know they cannot keep. So I will keep my promise to mourn with those who mourn and bear the burdens my siblings have borne as the attacks arrive from those in power and trans rights are threatened every hour. People's lives are on the line and the rest of the world acts like everything is fine, but Black trans women don't make it past 35 and queer youth deserve to stay alive. Our oppressors know they were cut like a knife, but in all the strife we find our voice. Our God-given gifts were not our choice, but we choose to love as God does and uplift each other in the struggle because we know that we are not alone. For when we stand together, we are standing in a holy place, a place of peace where we embrace each child of God with love and care. Each child of God with whom we share this beautiful earth that we call home and all the land on which we roam. Let us unite as we strive to understand that we are all made in the image of God. Each and every one of us flawed but beautiful still as we share our light. And come together to end this fight and ensure that no one else has to hide. Because to me, that is the meaning of pride.
Just a quick heads up, Jesse Hastings, we have your, oh, let me mute that mic. Jesse Hastings, we have your credit card up here. You might want that. So up next, we have Laura Skaggs. She is a therapist from Flourish Therapy in Provo, Utah. Laura Skaggs has been doing LGBTQ plus outreach and advocacy at the complex intersection of the Latter-day Saint community life for nearly a decade. As a speaker, writer, blogger, and podcaster, she has drawn on her experiences as a marriage and family therapist and lesbian to promote evidence based on multiculturally competent interventions that further empower LGBTQ plus people and educate allies. Laura earned her master's degree in marriage and family therapy from San Diego University, where she specialized in LGBTQ plus mental health within conservative religious social contexts. Laura has served on the board of directors of Affirmation LGBT plus Mormons, families, and friends with a focus on trauma-informed care and suicide prevention. She is also the co-creator of CWEERS empowerment groups, a practice designed to help LGBTQ individuals and their supporters to confront social discrimination and internalized stigma. Laura currently sees clients as part of the Flourish Therapy in Provo, Utah, where she specializes in treating spiritual/religious trauma amongst LGBTQ plus individuals. Last but not least, she's the proud mother of 2 teen daughters, as well as an alumnus of both Ricks College/BYU-I and Brigham Young University, Provo.
Hello. All right, so good to be with all of you. They mentioned that I am a Ricks College, I'm that old, Ricks College, BYU alumnus, and I was a closeted gay kid, and I'm wondering where all of you were. Where were you? You weren't born yet. You weren't born yet, I know, I'm that old. I'm gonna move because if I don't like walk when I talk, I'll just get too nervous, you know? So I want to start by remembering someone. Some of you who are like newer to sort of these messy intersections of religion and LGBT experiences and doing outreach at them might not know this person, but 3 years ago today, we lost one of the best voices in these intersections, queer community. Her name was Berta Marquez. And before there was a lot of services, she was that person who would just open up her home. She and her wife would open up their home to anyone who needed anything. And she would go out literally into the wildernesses where there was a lot of LGBT youth at that time in Utah, because there weren't any services again, and she would try to connect them. And she and her wife were trying to somehow build little bridges, and they would sign up on a Saturday to clean an LDS church to somehow create some inroads.
And so as I remember her, and as many of those of us who worked at these intersections today remember her, I want to remember her Christ-like love, and her grace that she offered people every time she stepped up to the plate, in visible spaces and in small spaces. And for her, she was a refugee and an immigrant and a queer woman of color. And what she knew and what she taught was a message of nonviolence and a message of grace and often long suffering. And so I just want to channel some of that energy with me today as we remember her passing, which was 3 years ago. So, thank you, Berta. I know you would be amazed and thrilled to know this was happening here. Thank you. Again, I know a lot of people didn't know her, but thank you for just letting me take that moment to honor and remember her. So my journey, why would a Southern California kid ever leave the sunny state of California and come up in the middle of winter? I came up in January when I first came up to Ricks, or BYU-Idaho. Why would I do that? I want to start by telling you the story of how I even came up here, because it has everything to do with me trying to figure out what was going on with me and what it meant to be gay at that time. So I was 19 years old, or 18, I think, when this story starts. And I grew up a Latter-day Saint, like a lot of people here. And I remember attending like an institute class there in California. And there was this moment where I remember watching all of the straight, young single adults. They were like excited about dating and getting married in the temple. And there was this crystallizing moment where I realized I am not like them. I am not like them. And, and I let that come into my consciousness. Like, I knew I wasn't attracted to guys. I knew I was attracted to girls, but I couldn't like admit what that all meant at that time. So this is the 90s, you guys, when I was trying to make sense of this. And so I began to just have like what I recognize now as like a panic attack. And I remember doing everything that I could as soon as I could to get out of that space and to get home. I remember just driving home and going into my dark room and like pacing around and finally just dropping to my knees and doing what so many, primary lessons growing up as a kid had taught me to do. I remember just praying, but the compelled prayer that came out of me was like, God, like, I don't want to live anymore. I just want to come home. And I remember thinking at that time, well, if this life is a test, and part of that test is that you have to be like God, and if you have to be like, or part of being like God is that you have to get married like a heterosexual, then I failed that test because I know I'm not that. I couldn't admit what I was, but I could admit that I wasn't that. And so I remember just praying that God would help me end my life. And luckily, God doesn't answer those kinds of prayers. Thank God. So thank goodness for that. And so then I remember just despairing, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? There's no way out of this. There's no way forward for me. I don't know what to do. And I remember just despairing and then dropping to my knees again. And I remember saying to myself, again, like a little kid remembering all my primary lessons, I think this is where I'm supposed to meet Jesus. And I remember praying after that, God, if I have to live, you have to help me. you have to help me. And so after that, I remember just sort of, nothing happened. And I remember asking my dad for a blessing at that time. And I don't even remember what my dad said. He said, like, probably the same things most dads say in blessings. But then afterwards, he was like, what do you think about going up to Rick's? And I was like lost, and I was looking for something. And so that's how I ended up here. The perfect place for a closeted gay Mormon kid who couldn't even come out to themselves, let alone anybody else. That's how I ended up at Rick's College, looking for some direction and way forward. And as a young kid, I don't know, I think of myself as a kid. This is 20 years ago plus. For me, this was like coming into a Mormon monastic experience. I couldn't wear shorts, and and the curfew was really early, and at the time, a guy by the name of David Bednar, some people will recognize that name, right? Who like parted his hair like perfectly, like ran the school with the same like discipline. And for me, this was like a place to come and to also somehow be disciplined in trying. I mean, at the time, I was really just trying to be straight. I remember during that time taking Book of Mormon classes and being asked to translate those words into my own. And so by the end of a year, I had translated the entire Book of Mormon into my own words, like deeply trying to internalize these words and attending everything that I could. And, the most sort of disciplined, soul-searching thing that I start to feel compelled to do is that I would go every day into this little study room that had no windows, and I would lock the door, and I would spend 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 hours praying, and crying, and reading my scriptures, trying to be straight. At the time, I told myself that I needed God to change my heart. I needed God to align my will to what I thought was right or was supposed to be in terms of getting married in the temple and not being attracted to women. I remember after about a year of doing this, walking out into the quad on campus after a devotional, the quad that is now covered in beautiful landscaping that I saw last night when I went back there. But at the time, it was just concrete. It was just cement. It was just this open area. And I remember as I was like walking out of the devotional and through that quad just by myself, but in this big crowd of people, all of a sudden feeling the most intense, beautiful feeling of love from God. And it was so overwhelming that I remember asking God in my mind, why are you letting me feel this? I didn't even feel worthy of that because I had so internalized so much negativity about myself up to that point in my life. And so I was so just overcome. And I remember the feeling just melting all the way through me and then just melting away. And then being in this big crowd of people with tears just streaming down my face. And again, feeling like that was the most amazing feeling that I had ever felt in all my life. Now, that was 19, almost 20 probably at that time. And fast forward to just within the last year. A failed Temple Marriage. An awesome guy, 2 amazing kids, but a lot of pain. A lot of pain. And the end of a road that I had tried to carve out as sincerely as I could. And laying in bed with another prayer about my path forward, about what it would be to finally live more as me, and to date, and to live into the part of myself that I had always tried to put away because of what I was first taught. And praying that prayer and feeling that same love, that I felt all those years ago, that I could walk forward, that God loved me, that it was okay, that it had always been okay. So my question to all of you, whether you are queer, whether you are here as an ally, is how do you go? How do you go from seeing your sexual orientation or your gender identity as a problem to be solved, rather than an opportunity and a gift and a blessing to be lived? How does anyone come from a place where you can only imagine a God who can see you as having something wrong with you, to be able to imagine a God who can fully love you, fully support you, and be with you on a journey of coming fully into oneself, and being able to connect and being able to be in your own body and love yourself and live into that. I work with people, obviously, as said in my bio. I work with people. I've worked with people in outreach for almost a decade, walking with other people, and I want to make this simple. Okay, I want to make this simple because if I give people a list of 10 things, then you're gonna forget all 10. So what helps people move from one place of self-rejection based on all of these negative messages to a place of self-love and of living and loving oneself? To me, it boils down to a couple of things. Whether we are an ally, whether we're a straight person and an ally to others, or we're queer and we're being an ally to people around us and people who we care about who are also queer, it is our job, it is our role to hold the clarity that queer people are not the problem. Thank you. Thank you. That someone's gender identity or gender expression or gender fluidity is not the problem, okay? That someone's sexual orientation is not the problem. This is just a part of who they are, and the problem is a culture and traditions that tell us otherwise. And it's our role to hold that clarity and to extend that to people as they do their work. Because the thing is, you can say that to someone, but because of all of the ideas that we inherit still in our culture, in our society, it is every queer person's work to learn for themselves through their own experience to know the good from the evil, to know the fruits of burying beautiful parts of themselves. The fruits are rotten. And that the fruits of living beautifully into these parts of themselves are usually really good, life-giving. And to learn that little by little, as you connect with people who hold that clarity for you, that there is nothing wrong with you, that you, as an individual, and this community as a collective body, is a part of the wonderful human diversity of this world that would not be the same without you. I don't know about any of you, but I don't want a world or a heaven without queer people. I don't want that. That's not a heaven for me. That's not a heaven for me, because it means that I lose out on some of the most beautiful humans that I have ever met. And that we lose out on the beauty of those relationships and those experiences in any community that we're a part of. That's not okay. That's no good. I don't want that. And so in my mind, those are the two things. We hold that clarity that queer people are not the problem, that it's the old traditions, the old stigmas, the old ideas, that we, whether we are allies or queer people, are collectively here together to work to dispel, to work to overcome, to work with, like, in small, gentle, graceful moments, one-on-one moments, and in larger sort of significant moments, to push back against, and to see ultimately people come into themselves and express who they are and get a chance to see their light. I like the word namaste, borrowing here. I see the light in you, you see the light in me, right? Like, how many of you have felt that when you've been around other queer people? You see it, you feel it, right? Right? And it's a blessing. It's such a blessing. And we need to reflect that back to each other. I think about right now, obviously there's so much work to be done. Oh my gosh. You know that, right? You know that. There's so much work to be done. And there's so many people in our community who are hurting, who are feeling marginalized or feeling particularly attacked. I know we can't sort of go through every single piece of that, but obviously, if we look at the last few years, our trans brothers and sisters have been hit like so hard, right? Like politically, socially, sometimes religiously, which sometimes is painful, right? Because people think that they're acting in the name of God. Like, ouch. No. I would never tell someone they can't use the bathroom. I can't imagine it. No, right? Right? What about every single primary lesson? Every single primary lesson we're taught not to leave people out. Not to, like, leave somebody out of playing sports. No. So I just want to, I don't like to read things typically, but I feel like we need more beautiful messages about our trans brothers and sisters. And so I want to read you the words of a Christian pastor, okay, Christian pastor who is a trans man. Do you know that existed? This person existed. Okay, and that he's pastor of Italian, okay? And oftentimes, right, when you're a queer person, it behooves you to find your place in the spiritual messages of things. There's not a lot of people willing to do that for you. But when I read this, I think to a person who dug really deep, and it rings true to me. And I'm going to share it with you, okay? In the beginning, God created day and night. Have you ever seen a sunset? Well, trans and non-binary people are kind of like that.
gorgeous, full of 100 shades of color you can't see. They play during the night. In the beginning, God created land and sea. And have you ever seen a beach? Well, trans and non-binary people are kind of like that. Beautiful, a balanced oasis. It's not quite like the ocean, not quite like the land. In the beginning, God created birds of the air and fish of the sea. But have you ever seen a flying fish or a duck or a pumpkin that swims and flies? Spending lots of time in the water and on the land? Well, trans and non-binary people are kind of like that. Full of life, a creative combination of characteristics that blows people's minds. Yes, right? In the beginning, God also created male and female. In God's own image, God created them. So in the same way that God created realities in between, outside of and beyond day and night, land and sea, or birds and fish, so God also created people with genders beyond male and female, trans and non-binary and agender and intersex. God created us, all different sorts of people, for all different sorts of relationships, created from love, to love and be loved. In God's image, we live. God is still creating you. And I want to say this to everyone here, because these words are beautiful. God is still creating you. You are no less beautiful and wild than a sunset or a beach or a puffin. You are loved. You